Tell me if this sounds familiar. You spend all your time creating all this content, making sure that you're showing up consistently. You create an awesome freebie. You maybe even set up many chat automations so that when that awesome content performs, people can download said freebie. And then someone actually opts into the freebie and joins your email list. And then what happens? Do you just send the freebie and then disappear? Only to email them again when you have more time, which if we're being real is almost never. And so yes, you are growing your list and people are downloading your freebie, but are we really serving them well? And more importantly, is it really even growing your business? Because without a simple automated email sequence, whether it's a welcome sequence, a nurture sequence, a sales sequence, without those emails, that workflow or automation being set up, growing your list is likely not growing your income. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see moms in business making all the time. And that's not having a really simple welcome or nurture sequence in place. So you're growing your list, building trust, and making sales automatically. And I get it. I am a mom in business too. I work 10 to 15 hours every week. And I'm going to guess like you, I wear many, if not all of the hats in my business. And so a lot of times the idea of an email series or even a really simple funnel just feels like one more thing that we have to do to grow our business. And it's one more thing that gets added to an already very full plate. And so what I see happen so many times is build a funnel or write my email sequence. It gets put on this really nice to-do list and then never actually gets checked off the to-do list. And so we're putting all of this effort into creating content, even creating a great freebie, and maybe even setting up that tech and the automations, but the views on their content and the growth on their list isn't actually bringing in any sales or any revenue because there isn't a nurture sequence set up to take your leads from interest into a buying decision. And so that's what we're going to walk through on today's video. We're going to go through which emails to send after someone joins your email list. And we're going to talk about how to do it in a very simple, doable way. Now I'm going to break down the 3 main types of emails we want to send here and give you a bunch of examples for how to get started. But if you find yourself staring at a blank Word doc wondering, what do I write specifically in these emails? I actually took all of these email concepts and I put them together in a Mad Lib style email template for you inside of my Nurture Sequence email templates. That pack will give you 9 plug and play email templates that you can put right into your own Nurture series, plus swipe copies for both digital products and service-based businesses. So you can see how each example I'm going to walk you through in this video can be used and tweaked depending on the type of business you run and the type of offers that you have. I've linked that for you in the description, or you can head to jordanjones.co/nurture to grab those templates. Okay, so let's talk about the emails that we want to include in our email sequence. You might think that the first email we send is pretty obvious. We want to deliver the freebie, right? Whatever they opted into. But we also want to direct them and build some excitement and even some authority already in that very first email. So that first email shouldn't just be a welcome email or just a here's your link, talk to you never. This first email has 3 jobs. We want it to deliver the freebie really clearly, make it easy for them to access. We want to direct them really intentionally, and we want to create anticipation. So let's talk about each of those 3 things. So clearly delivering the freebie. This sounds really obvious because that is the point. Someone opted in, you want to give them the freebie, but so many people bury the link in that first email. So I want to encourage you to put the link as close to the top as possible, make it really easy to find, and tell them exactly what it is. We don't need like cute, clever wording or buttons here. We want them to know, hey, you downloaded this, like download name of freebie here, or watch name of training here, or access name of PDF here. Make it so clear so when they sign up for something, they can go right to their email and know exactly what to click and where to find it. We want to make them scroll all over to find what they signed up for, or have a disconnect and wondering what in the world did I even sign up for because you're using cutesy, clever terms versus the name of the actual freebie. So we don't want any kind of fluff here. We really want them to be able to find that resource and access it easily and quickly. Now, this is where most emails stop. We just send them the link and then we let them go on their way. And sometimes we forget to email them for weeks and weeks to come. But not you. You are going to have your nurture sequence set up, right? So the second thing that we actually want the same first email to do is to direct them intentionally on how to use the freebie that they just signed up for. So instead of just saying, here's your freebie, enjoy, we want to encourage them to take action and actually download or watch or engage or use the freebie. So some ideas of ways to do this is you could tell them to go to a specific page or look for a specific tip, or encourage them that they can experience this specific small win by using or utilizing your freebie. The point here is we want to help them to take action very quickly. Because if they don't use the freebie, they're not going to value it. And if they don't value it, you're not going to be building authority and trust with them. And if you don't have authority and trust with them, they're not going to want to buy or work with you when we lead them into your offers. And so the last thing we want is for someone to download your freebie, let it sit on their desktop and never open it again. So this second part is actually helping them to engage with and use and get the value out of this really valuable freebie that you gave them, right? And the third thing you want to do in this very first email, and this might be one of the most strategic pieces of it, is to create an expectation and an anticipation of what is coming. We want to let them know that we're going to be emailing them again, that we're here to help them, that we're going to be helping them get more of this transformation or solve the problem that they're interested in. And so this is going to build expectation and position us as an expert with a ton of value to share. So this might look like a simple one line at the end of the email that says, over the next few days, I'm going to show you exactly how to implement this, or exactly how to do this one thing, or exactly how to insert a line about the transformation, maybe a small version of the bigger transformation. I'm going to help you how to do that. That line, it can be one line, but it is so powerful for building belief, building trust, and setting them up to be excited to look for the rest of your emails. Because similar to if they don't open the freebie or use the freebie, they're not going to get the value from it. You can write great emails, but if people aren't excited about them and opening them and reading them, then they're not going to be clicking the links or taking the action in the emails, which eventually will be to sell them into an offer or a service. So we want to get them excited from the beginning to be receiving emails and value from you. Okay, so that is email number one. I know that feels jam-packed. It doesn't mean that it needs to be a super long email. It can still be really simple, but we really want to make sure that we deliver the freebie, that we direct them on how to use it, and that we set expectation and build anticipation for what's coming next. The next few emails in your nurture series is going to be all about building belief. Now, this is where I see a lot of people go one of two ways. They either info dump or they skip straight to pitching and like hard selling. And that's not what we want to do here. Instead, we want to do things like renaming a misconception, addressing common objections, sharing your own story or transformation if that's relevant. If not, maybe sharing more about your expertise and how you're able to help them, featuring client or customer stories or testimonials, and really starting to position your service, your offer, your method as a solution that's going to help them get that transformation. Because before someone ever buys from you, they need to believe three things. The first is that the problem is real. They have to be aware of what the problem is. The second is that a solution is possible. And the third is that you are the right guide to help them get from their problem to the solution. So the goal of these emails is really building belief. It's shifting mindsets. It's building trust and authority with them. And it's not about sharing 10 ideas or a ton of content or a ton of emails, but really doing that one belief, one email at a time. Because there's a difference between building belief in the transformation in your offer, in you, and convincing someone to take an action. So the goal of these emails in a nurture sequence is to build belief. And if you're just getting started, I recommend just 2 or 3 of these emails sent each day after the first welcome sequence. So you'd have email number 1 is deliver and direct, and then emails number 2, 3, and 4 are building belief. And now it's time for the last type of email. So for this example, it would be email number 5, and that is the invitation. Now, you can certainly mention your offers or talk about things throughout your other emails as it makes sense. We want these emails to feel like conversations, not hard pitches, not like you're trying to strong arm someone into like, buy from me right now, right? And so if it makes sense to mention offers or to mention how you help people do it, go ahead and sprinkle those into the other belief building emails. If you do grab my email sequence templates, you'll see in those swipe copy examples of how you can weave in your offers and services really naturally without it being a hard pitch all through the first few emails. But this last email, the invitation, is really where we want to give a clear invitation for how they can work with you, how they can buy from you, how you can help them get the transformation that they desire. So in the first few emails, we were building trust, we were sharing value, we were shifting beliefs, we were establishing your expertise. And so now we're kind of bringing that all together. We want to remind them of that original problem, and we want to build the bridge of, if you want help doing X, Y, and Z, all of the things that we just talked about, this is the best way that I can help you. And that's where you're going to share the offer. We want to share the offer in a really clear way. We want to tell them who it's for. Who it's not for is also just as important, and have a really clear CTA. And so that CTA, that call to action, might be to book a discovery call. It might be to buy the digital product. It might be to book your services or a project. There's a lot of different call to actions, whatever that goal is for you. That really depends on what your process looks like. If you want a call first, if you want someone to be able to book or buy right from you from those emails. But the goal here is to make it really clear what your offer is, who it's for, how it'll help them, and then have a really clear way for them to get started. And especially in this kind of nurture sequence that still is a sales sequence, it's not about pressure, it's not about urgency, it is about clarity and really great communication. And if you're a mom entrepreneur like me, this matters so much because having this type of email sequence built means that you're not just having to show up constantly and create a ton of content that isn't driving your business anywhere, or you're not scrambling to remember to email people, or you're not relying on just your motivation every day to show up and sell. This kind of email sequence is going to help you to grow your list consistently, to build trust with your audience without you being constantly online or in conversations one-on-one. Even though one-on-one conversations are still great, this kind of sequence helps to elevate your business and honestly gives you more leverage to do other things in your business or just be offline in your life so your business can be nurturing and selling for you. Now, hopefully that breakdown helped you to realize that your nurture sequence does not need to be super complicated to work and to sell well. It just needs to deliver and direct, build beliefs, and make an invitation in a really clear, natural way. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, great, I understand that structure, that strategy makes sense, but I still have no idea what in the world I'd write in those emails, that is exactly why I created my Nurture Sequence email templates. They walk you through each of these different types of emails with the structure and the wording, so you're not starting with a blank slate. I created them so that you can write your entire Nurture Sequence in less than a day. So you can set it up one time and let it work for you in your business and give you more time and leverage and capacity back. So what I want you to do now is go look at your calendar in this next week and mark out even 1 hour to start building your nurture sequence so that you can finally check off write my email sequence and have your business start to work for you even when you're not actively working on it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to stay tuned for the next one and subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos on how to build a simple and sustainable business that gives you more income and more time for the people and things that matter most. See you next time.